back to another penny stock video. Today we're taking a look at IQST, that's IQSTEL Inc., trading on the NASDAQ, right around $2 right now. Had a significant green day today with some good volume. We'll take a closer look at the chart in a bit, but there's a lot to cover with this company and why it's a interesting trade opportunity here. So first and foremost, a little backstory, right? IQST, they've been around for years and they've been growing for years, and they have a unique story because they actually started on the OTC markets as a pig sheet, went up to OTCQX tier, and then was there for a couple years, and now within this past year, they have uplisted to the NASDAQ. You can see there was a lot of excitement and trading action when they did that initial uplist, but it's very typical for these companies that do uplist from smaller exchanges to larger exchanges that they become a target for shorts and the stock bleeds down, right? And you can see it's been beaten down significantly now. And what happens is when you get beaten down for this long, all of a sudden you're extremely cheap and you're an extremely good trade opportunity, or potentially, right? So that's the kind of underlying thesis there, and a little backstory on the company. And as you can see, the market cap now is only $11 million market cap, which when you see these revenues that we're about to look at, you're going to be like, whoa, how is this $11 million market cap, right? So shares outstanding 4.67 million. So the float is pretty small here as well. And let's take a look at some of the most recent PRs, and then we'll take a look at what's interesting about the chart. So this is a shareholder letter that they released March 18th, talking about their strategic expansion, AI platform development, and global investor outreach. You can go read this for yourself if you want. It's a bit long-winded, but we'll just highlight a couple things here, right? These AI platforms that they have, Airweb AI, IQ2 Call AI, and IQ2 Cortex AI, are designed to enhance enterprise automation, improve customer engagement, and integrate communications across digital channels. And I believe there's something in this one, let me search for it real quick, about Cycurion as well. Yep, here it is, and it says, in parallel, we are expanding cybersecurity capabilities through our strategic collaboration with Cycurion, which is CYCU on the NASDAQ. And as you can see, this is CYCU this past week. This is the hourly chart over a 5-day period, and you can see it's had quite a bit of action this week. It had a really nice, strong week for the stock. So you could also think, okay, well, if CYCU's heating up and they're partnered with IQST, maybe some of that heat will transfer over to IQST, right? Some of that momentum, some of that interest. So we'll further highlight, that relationship with this PR from November 25th, which is Cycurion and IQST strengthen strategic alliance by retaining the full $1 million worth of cross holdings in each other's companies. And they also did a prorated distribution of approximately $500,000 of their own shares to their own shareholders. So there was a dividend involved here as well, and they have that, kind of joint investment in each other as companies. So again, right, if CYCU is getting some action, you think, okay, eyes are going to go to IQST potentially next. So that's exciting for IQST as well. And then we have their reports of their full year 2025 financial results. And remember, guys, what was that market cap? 11 million, right? 11 million market cap. And what was their revenue in 2025? $317 million in revenue for 2025. That's plus 12% growth year over year. In 2024, they did $283.2 million. And they do have a gross profit as well of about 10 million there. And stockholders' equity even increased 37% to 16.3 million versus 2024 had $11.9 million in stockholder equity. So it's again, here they say, over the past several years, we have successfully built a strong and scalable global business platform, growing our operations to a $400 million revenue run rate while maintaining a clean capital structure. Okay, and then they also have this goal, which they've talked about several times now, and they reiterate it in this press release somewhere here, but essentially here it is at the end, which is they have a goal of achieving $1 billion in annual revenue within the next 24 months. Okay, so and what they typically have done over time is they expand their revenue aggressively through acquisition. So they tend to do a lot of acquisitions. So it does seem like that is an achievable goal based on their past few years of growth. They've grown, from a couple years ago, it was excited to do $100 million revenue. Now they're doing over $300 million revenue. So they're saying in the next 24 months, they're going to be doing $1 billion annual run rate in revenue, right? So that's really significant. And again, guys, we're talking about an $11 million market cap here. It's like we're talking about practice, right? So very, very tiny market cap compared to the revenues that they are reporting. So that's exciting as well. And then we take a look at the chart, and the chart's really exciting here for a trade opportunity, I think, right? Let's draw some lines, right? So we'll zoom in a little bit. Let's go to our 6-month time frame, and let's start putting our lines there. What are some levels for this chart? Well, luckily for us, this chart seems to love whole numbers, so let's just keep it simple and go for the whole numbers. $3, right? We have a clear level here where it's traded, it consolidated a lot here. It was a support, now it was a resistance, etc. You know the drill, right? Okay, let's find our next level. Okay, $4. Boom. $4 is our next level, right? We'll raise that up a little bit so it looks nicer. But you can see, right, this is where it was consolidating for a while. So, okay, this is another level it can retest, right? We go past 3, we can go to 4. Okay, what happens if we go over 4? Well, we have this 200 MA, right? The 200-day moving average here on the daily chart. And that's right around, oh, look, another whole number, 5. So we got 3, 4, 5 as pretty good levels here on our chart that we can see as, kind of near-term upside targets if this continues momentum. And we, obviously as traders, we look for momentum, and this has the momentum because take a look at that volume. Hello. So today, big volume spike, big volume spike. This is like the biggest volume it's had since, that initial couple weeks of when it uplisted, right? And it was getting a lot of trading action. So really, really significant here. Again, this is on a 6-month time frame. You can see biggest volume day in 6 months. If we go to a 9-month, you can see biggest volume day in 9 months, right? So really significant volume here. And again, a nice, big, juicy green candle closing the stock well above any other daily close within the past few weeks, right? So that's something that you can't really ignore. And it's obviously a signal to traders, right? Hey, this has momentum. People are buying this. This is heating up. And again, with the connection to CYCU, which just had a great run earlier this week, you could think, okay, so some of those guys that traded CYCU and made money there, they're probably looking at IQST as a potential runner as well, right? Similar setup, beaten down, low float, with a big increase in volume and some nice upside targets here. So really like the chart on IQST and really like seeing that bullish volume come in with that bullish close today. So I think this is something you could see, continue running after hours tonight. You could probably see it running in the morning. You might see it running tomorrow. I think it's a stock that could definitely get hot over these next couple days. So if you're into these small cap penny stocks, definitely keep an eye on IQST. And we'll take one look at their website real quick here. You can see they're still using their full year 2024 net revenue on the website, so they should probably update that. But it is worth noting that year they had 96% year-over-year growth, so that's really significant. And then they have tons of partners that they work with here, right? Verizon, China Mobile, T-Mobile, Bell, Telefonica, Digo, PCCW Global, Orange. Okay, tons of huge companies that they are partnered with and working with. So that's exciting as well. So IQST, again, $11 million market cap, right? And how many revenues are they doing? $317 million revenue in 2025. So a little bit of a discrepancy there between market cap and revenue. And of course, we have this bullish chart set up as well that could really have a very strong bounce here. And, the way it was trading today, it was trading pretty light. It looked good. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.